Hello, welcome. Jane Miller here of Jane Miller Associates. I want to introduce you to some ideas here that were put together by Bob Proctor and Sandy Gallagher, and which I facilitate. And I think you're going to like. And if you really let yourself get into this, it could change you and the bottom line of your company like night and day. Now, this is a quick overview with just a baker's dozen of slides, and it won't take you much time, but will provide an awareness that can catapult your results. You see, when people in a company become more productive, the increase in profit goes right to the bottom line. Now think about it. All the expenses are looked after, the overheads looked after. The individuals just raise the bar. They become more productive. That, of course, earns greater profit for the company, and it goes right to the bottom line. The program that I am about to explain to you is Thinking into Results. It is a program that is designed to not only increase profit, but to make life more meaningful for all of the individuals in your company. You see, you and I are programmed with an understanding or not. We're programmed both genetically and environmentally. Now, Bob Proctor has been teaching these concepts for over 50 years. His wisdom came through a lineage of great teachers, beginning with Andrew Carnegie, who passed it on to Napoleon Hill. Then Napoleon Hill passed it on to Earl Nightingale. Earl Nightingale then passed the torch of wisdom to Bob Proctor, and Bob passed this on to his facilitators, including me, and I am honored to pass it on to you. Now, when Bob put this program together and decided to teach it, he put it together in a very organized and coherent manner and began to teach it to companies, one being Prudential of America, way back in the 70s. Their production went up by hundreds of millions of dollars. Hundreds of millions, it's all on record. The top people in the company were shocked. They were sending in psychologists to find out what was going on. What Bob was really doing was just teaching the people to do what they already knew how to do. You see, one of the things we know is how to do a better job, but we're just not doing it. So then, why don't people do what they already know how to do? Well, there's two things a person must know to improve their performance, that they have to know if they're going to win. And if you look at this, you'll say, well, this is pretty obvious. They have to know where they are, and they have to know where they're going. But when things aren't happening the way we want, the first place to look is our results. And the present results will tell the story. You see, if it's so simple and so obvious, then why are there so many people stuck? Well, they take a look at their current results, and they keep getting the same results. Look, if you have a person who comes into work late, they probably do it frequently. And then there's another person who shows up early. They probably do that frequently. What's going on? So we say, oh, I know where the problem is. They have no goals. They have no direction, no reason to grow. But we found that that's not really true. They may not have goals in writing, and they may not be too articulate, but everybody wants something. It's the essence of who we are. So awareness is the beginning. You see, we can go all the way through our educational system and learn very little about who we are, but we're all programmed. We're programmed genetically and environmentally. And the programming shows up as paradigms. And paradigms literally control our lives. They can show up like brick walls on our way to a goal. They can cause people to reach a certain level and stop. We know how to do better, but we stop. Why? It's the paradigm, the programming. A salesperson who is programmed to be seen and not heard will have a horrible time approaching new prospects. An associate in the warehouse who is programmed to not make waves may never come up with ideas that would increase productivity. Our paradigms control everything. I want you to think of some of the people in your company. You've taught them how to do something and they're not doing it. And you see them continually making the same mistakes. Why are they doing that? They don't really even know, and they don't even know that they know. As we get into this, things really start to move. Paradigms, they shape our logic, our time, our effectiveness, and so on. A paradigm is fixed in our mind. It's our fixed belief system. You know, in a corporation, a company has a culture, a belief system. It has paradigms. And as the paradigm of the corporation shifts, the whole company changes. Now, the mind is the greatest power in all creation. I think we all know that. When we're talking about paradigms, we're talking about the mind. So let's get all of the minds to change. But how? Well, we might think about changing behavior. 21 days to a new habit, right? But so often we can force behavior and then it may fizzle out. That's what we have to understand if we're going to change the paradigm, that it's through the use of our intellectual factors, our thinking mind. These are such phenomenal tools that we all have. We have perception, the will, imagination, memory, intuition, and reason. You and I have the ability to think, to create an image, and then we can impress that image upon the subjective mind, the subconscious mind. Then we'll act on that, and change will result in the end. I want you to stop and think of what would happen if everyone in your company really understood this. I'll tell you one thing that would happen. They'd have a lot more fun. They wouldn't work anywhere near as hard, but would produce much better results. There'd be more cohesiveness and more team effort. They'd be involved in creative adventures. Competition is set aside. Cooperation would rule. Well, that's really what we want to do. Now, there are only two known ways to change a paradigm. One is an emotional impact that very rarely happens in a positive direction, although it could. An emotional impact may be when a person loses a loved one, and boom, like that, their life changes. The other way is through repetition of an idea. This is what I've done. The repetition of new ideas. So here I am reading and studying the same things that Bob Proctor did. I was listening to the same recordings. Actually, I found out that my father, who's gone now, was well read in Carnegie and Charlie Jones, and he was a great leader. So now, here I am changing my paradigms, substituting the ideas that I'd been raised with, both genetically and environmentally, substituting them with the ideas that Nightingale recorded, Napoleon Hill wrote about, and now my successful clients do the same. Within the Thinking into Results program, there are 12 powerful lessons that really will catapult your success, both personally and professionally, for you and your team. Now, if you know me, or you know someone who's worked with me in the past, you know about my energetic and magnetic style. But now I am backed by two of the top intellects, Sandy Gallagher, a top corporate executive, and Bob Proctor, who teaches this program in the audio and video recordings. Bob has been playing with this information since 1961. He can tell you stories from all over the world. He and Sandy have worked all over the world. It's really awesome. So take a brief look here at the powerful topics that are part of the Thinking into Results program. So, are you ready? I'd like to sit down and talk to you about what we could do in your company, not what has been done at Acme Chemical or Prudential of America. I want to talk to you about you and your company. We'll dig into specifics, and you're going to be quite pleased because it gets results. and results that will literally shock you. I've been studying this and doing this for the last 15 years, and I think it's obvious that I love it. I just love it. But I think it's a shame that most people go from cradle to grave, never find out who they are. They tiptoe through life. And our educational system doesn't give them this information. So forget about everything you've learned before and let me come in and talk to you. Just like that, you'll change. So here's the ask. Take a moment to pick up your phone, send me a text, or go to the link below to set up a time where we can chat. It will be the best investment of time you've made in a while, I guarantee it. Because at Jane Miller Associates, we help you to achieve more, work less, and celebrate often. This is Jane Miller. Thank you, and I look forward to connecting with you.